Hello everyone. You probably all know the game Cuphead. Blah blah blah, funny game, shoot thing, very so me and my good friend Hun78 decided to host a boss contest where people would enter in to create various Cuphead bosses for us to judge and rate. And in this video, we will be reviewing over all the submissions that were sent to us in the studio. And without further ado, let's roll into the intro. First boss is the Skrybbu boss, made by CS2684316. That's a mouthful. This first boss is a plain boss. It came out on the same day that the contest started, and let me just say, it sucks. First off, the background is seizure-inducing. The look of the boss is indistinguishable. I have no idea what it is. Is it a dragon? A mouse? Both? It's the first one of these fly across the screen bosses, where it flies in this boring random path, and it's clearly not had much effort put into it. And there are these weird projectiles at the start. All of them are parryable and they fly across the screen, and I hate it. It just sucks. No more screen time for you, sucky boss. Pull up the score. The only reason art isn't 0 out of 10 is because the thumbnail is made with Play-Doh, and I guess that's cool. The second boss is Battle of the Buzzi Bees, submitted by Riker the Goose. This is another plain boss, and it's pretty similar to the first boss in the way the boss does everything like moves or attacks.
However, it does it much better. It's not an eyesore, having a nice few frames of animation and having a nicer movement pattern.
That is to say, it doesn't have one at all. Bee and its Stingar move randomly across the screen, but at least they're doing so at a reasonable speed, allowing you to get your hits in. The parry objects got turned into projectiles, which also fly around the screen at a fast speed, but since these aren't your target, them moving awfully fast isn't a pain in the butt. Also, a nice choice of music with High Noon Hoopla. However, it's still pretty basic compared to the future entries. I'm only praising it because I'm comparing it to the worst boss so far. Still, it's simple, and that's all the boss does. Alright, I mean, it's like the previous one, but at least it's better because it's nicer on the eyes. Also, wait, right, the music isn't just a garbled mess, so that's a plus. Yeah, this is definitely better than the last one. Alright, come here, Buzzi.
Anyways, here's the scores.
The third boss is called Franky's Robot and was made by TD Classes. And, oh, wait a minute, it's almost exactly the same as the last two, only with a few changes. First off, there's very goofy music in the background, which makes the boss 10 times less serious. The PNG looks like it was taken from Google Images, and it takes up a huge part of the screen, which is a big problem.
Wait, why is it a big problem?
Well, because the boss moves across the screen to random points. Who the hell would have guessed? However, this time, you won't believe this massive change that it has. Are you ready for it? It shoots fireball projectiles, but even those don't work half the time. In the second phase with the yellow robot, another PNG, the projectile has a seizure and switches between the weird red fireball and some kind of black laser beam or bullet. I don't know what that is.
Anyways, here are the only 2 frames of this boss.
Fourth boss, Purple Square in the Purpley Chaos by Prince T Productions. Finally, a boss that isn't a randomly sliding PNG. This boss slides up and down instead. But it also shoots stuff, simple purple rectangles that are sometimes parryable. A bit into the fight, the boss seems to throw a black cube upward, and then angry purple rectangles start falling from the sky with a little anticipation. This is good. However, the last phase, Jesus, the last phase just ruins the boss. I really liked the boss until I started wondering,
A few minutes later.
why won't he die? Then I clicked the see inside button and looked at the health. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the boss health variable and see how far I was. Excuse me? What do you mean this boss still has 2,000? What the f? Okay. I am not going through a boss that has 6,500 health. I am sorry. Why does it have 6,500 health? No Cuphead boss has this much health. It would be fine if the boss had like 15 phases, but no. It only has 3 phases, and the final one has around 5,000 HP. So I decided to give myself cheats so I could actually finish the fight and see if something changes. Some way through the third phase, the attacks seemed to get harder, but it didn't really matter because my opinion on the boss had gone from, wow, an actual boss, how nice, to... And one final thing, I know the whole theme is that everything is purple, but make the outlines visible in the final phase, please. The cubes that fell from above in the last phase had no warning, meaning that the top, which you needed to be in to hit the boss, was generally unsafe. Plus, the cubes are the same color as the background, and outline was black, when the background was almost black too. So, yeah, that was unfair. Basically, unfair cubes plus 6,500 health equals excruciating boss. Also, nice use of carnival kerfuffle, I guess. This definitely would have scored way higher if it didn't last 3 hours for no reason. Probably like a 5 or a 6. Keep that in mind for the next contest. Lol. The fifth boss is Ratty and Maple in A Cheesy Stretch by Seon. I don't know how to say that. Before we get started, I want to point out this weird bug. For some reason, the first time you play the boss, the weird Batman Hydra thing, I think that's Maple, dies before the boss even starts, while normally it should die about halfway through the boss. This is a very bad issue and is gonna bring down the score. However, an easy fix is to just go into the code and make it wait 0.001 seconds before the health check to make sure it doesn't happen again. Anyway, this boss has the weirdest hyper-realistic Google thumbnail and background out of all of them so far, and the weird bat monster launches you up into the sky with a white laser beam. Anyway, the look of the boss is very strange. Not only that, but during the tail attack, the animation has like a seizure every time it plays. Oh, and speaking of which, it plays a lot. The boss only has 2 attacks, that tail attack and the mine attack from Fiery Frolic. And the attacks go on for an excruciating amount of time. Get this, you can beat the boss while it still continues to do the same attack it did from the start. The knockout is also very weird, so there's that. Oh my god, penis music! The sixth boss is Cuphead in Hold Up. Cuphead versus a Black Hole, made by Laser Sasha 2. There's not too much to say about this one. It's Cuphead in a plane fighting a black hole. It has 2 attacks, shooting a parryable projectile that bugs out if you parry it, and the big boxing gloves that comes from above that is stupidly easy to dodge. Oh yeah, and a small red black hole that flies around randomly like one of those fly across the screen bosses. This boss is pretty nothing, to be honest. All I remember it for is its use of Botanic Panic as the song. That's it. The 7th boss is, I'm probably gonna butcher this, Relue&Biret versus Cuphead by Ray Scratch School. And guess what? You won't believe this, but it's another slide across the screen boss. Wow! This boss is actually so simple that I'll speedrun the definition in under 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. The boss moves from left to right. That's his only attack. But wait, there are 2 other things I should also mention. There are these weird red and blue rectangles that fly across the screen, and one of them is parryable. Also, moving clouds and occasional birds coming from the top of the sky. Oh, and sometimes this weird black and red ball appears to chase you. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole boss. Pretty uninteresting and not very entertaining. Kind of looks like a country ball. El octavo jefe is Cuphead Plain Pibby Boss Fight, creado por Breeze 2013. This one is, something. It's unique as in it's not another fly across the screen boss, but there's literally only 4 images in the project total. I know the boss is supposed to be a pibby monster, but it looks like a giant turd with sprinkles on it. And I definitely laughed at the boss because it has the weirdest attack I've ever seen. It launches a pink Mugman Cuphead hybrid with no eyes while it makes a funny plane noise. The funniest part about that is that even after you beat the boss, the weird plane noises keep happening during the results screen. Another slide across the screen boss. Oh. Pink eyeless Mugman Cuphead hybrid projectile with... Oh, it's still happening! The other attack is a homing projectile, but it's not centered, so it's kinda unfair when it rotates. Yeah, that's that. The boss isn't too long and only has that phase, so it's pretty simple. Still funny though. Boss number 9 is 4 from BFDI, updated by Jonathan Malb. Now, let me just say that this boss is clearly the best one. It'll definitely win first place. The art and animation is nice, the attacks are amazing, the boss doesn't seem too unfair, and it's incredible. A whole 8-phase boss. Wait, what? Wrong boss? Oh, yeah, sorry. Anyways, here's the right boss, and... First off, the boss has no resemblance to 4. It just randomly decides to hang on the top of the screen or to switch to the side. It has no attacks, the placeholder assets are still there, and the music is goofy, but also annoying and bad. And the background is a brick wall? What does that have to do with 4? Oh my god, the music. Oh my god, I did it. This is so epic. Well, Jesus. Oh, and the music just cuts out. Oh, this one's also funny bad. Only reason this has more than a 0 out of 10 is because the music was so out of place that it made me laugh. The 10th boss in this contest is Mr. Fred in His House by Fred2302. Almost everything about this boss is amazing. Where do I begin? Fully animated attacks? The background works with the parallax effect? The 3 difficulties are wildly different? The attacks are actually challenging and not buggy? Let's begin with the animation. Although Fred is a simple black stickman, bro runs, punches, teleports, and shoots guns, all while being fully animated. My only complaint on the visual aspect is that he blends in a little too much with the background, which is very dark. That leads into the next point, the background. It's a blue flame with a bunch of screens with cool math stuff on them, like the square root of 2 and a smiley face. very mathy. It also moves along with the parallax, which I can imagine was surely a pain in the butt to get working right. There is one bug with it, however. The main platform keeps rising the more you restart the project. After playing through all the difficulties for like 40 minutes, the issue started to get very noticeable, but still, this is a minor nitpick because it doesn't really do any harm, and not many people are gonna go and play this boss over and over and over for 40 minutes. I just did it because I needed to get this footage. Next, the 3 difficulties. Simple, regular, and expert are all different, which really wasn't something necessary, but Fred2302 went the extra mile, so massive props to him for that. And finally, the attacks. I'm gonna be 100% honest, even after beating it, I didn't learn all the attacks right, but I know it's just a skill issue on my part. All of them are cool and got me to think about my loadout so I could do better in the fight. My only actual problem with the boss is the fact that it went so far in order to be so good, yet it doesn't make use of the pause variable. Rendering supers basically useless because by the time they end, Fred is already on top of you and you get hit no matter what, so yeah. But again, it's just a little nitpick. You can just not use supers. Supers are bad anyway. And another bug that happened is that sometimes I became invincible. However, I never figured out if that was my fault or if the hitboxes were wonky, so I won't really hold it against him. Even if this isn't the absolute best Cuphead boss I've ever seen, it's definitely one of the best of the bunch. And trust me, you'll see ones just as good later.
Oh, and a side note, the music was custom made by Fred2302 himself.
Who's the 11th boss? Why, it's Cuphead vs. General Guy by Teodori Marco. And spoiler alert, it's not good. The background looks like it was taken from Funhouse Frazzle, I'm not sure, and all the General Guy does is throw really fast bombs at you. It's basically just a game of reflexes. And not only that, but in Phase 2, he grows bigger and throws bigger bombs that shoot even faster than before. They become almost undodgeable. I had to cheat to beat this one. He grew bigger. Now the bombs... Wait. Oh, you. You. I'm just gonna make Cuphead shoot faster. The usual. And none of the bombs even explode? Come on, they're bombs. They're supposed to explode. Not good. Not good at all. Number 12 is Flame Hoarder by That Casual Scratcher. Strange gradient background and sprite from some game I don't know. This boss follows Cuphead around the screen and shoots fireballs that also follow Cuphead, but slightly faster. It's very nothing like the Black Hole boss, but this one is funny because it doesn't use the vulnerable variable, meaning that touching a fireball will hurt you, even during invincibility frames, causing Cuphead to practically explode when he touches the fireballs. Wait, don't tell me. Oh, never mind, wait. What? Oh, it's one of those, okay. Number 13, Fake Peppino in Cloning Catastrophe by The Hoot Doog. Sucks
Doonky beans.
Where do I begin? Well, all of the attacks, if I can even call them that, and parts of the boss that hurt you don't use the hit check block or the vulnerable variable, meaning they ignore whether Cuphead is invincible or not. So, if you touch anything, you just Fake Peppino runs into you and hits you before you even start the boss during the intro animation, meaning you'll always have 1 HP less when you begin. In addition to that, the animations and images are ripped straight from the game. And still, Fake Peppino only plays the one animation of himself running. When I got tired of playing it and went into the project, I realized that... Oh my god. How much health does he have? Watch him have like 1,000 health. Wait, what? What? This is a remix of the Apple Core project? Why? Oh god. So then that means this should have a trillion health? Oh, you're joking. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna finish this. Fake Peppino has a stupid amount of HP, meaning that this boss was impossible. I won't even try to beat this. This boss, for some reason, is a remix of my Apple Core project. Why would anybody do that? Fourteenth submission is Cuphead in Cobweb Hotel, made by 4WTP. This boss is pretty simple and is actually unfinished, but clearly the thing that stands out here is the animation. The animation is amazing. My jaw dropped to the floor when I first saw it because I couldn't believe my eyes. Cobweb Hotel. Oh my god, animation? Animation! What? What? Frame by frame animation? And it... What? Oh my god. This is so refreshing after all this light across the screen bosses. Oh my god, what? If the contest had lasted longer, then surely this boss would be among the first places. So, anyway, this boss is a spider guy, and he throws nails at you while screws and occasionally pink slabs of something fall from the sky. The second phase has the spider guy becoming much bigger, and then punching the player using his tongue. This isn't actually part of the game, but I figured it out when seeing inside the project to see all the animation. The only issue when it comes to visuals is that the background is noticeably low quality, and it's just like a screenshot of some cartoon, which I really don't have an issue with, but Hunt78 does, and it's our contest, so I can't ignore his opinion. Quote from him: "The background looks like a heavily compressed screenshot from Google Images." Overall, great boss, even if it is extremely simple and not finished. The animation makes it stand out a ton, so great job. I'd love to see this boss as a finished fight. Once again, love the animation, man. The 15th entry is Cuphead Metal Armor Barrage by player 0x. This one will be quick, as it is short but sweet. The boss starts by taking off his cape and then doing a swinging sword attack. The background is okay. I like how the border has been turned into like the outside of an arcade game. Meta Knight has a bunch of attacks. He can do his standard sword attack with his second swing being a parry, which I like, as well as flying up into the air to spew out swords in 5 directions, doing a cool dash forwards. In addition to that, he can also jump up to fly back and forth between the screen, but after the first phase, Meta Knight just sorta leaves and has no knockout. But still, short and sweet boss. In general, the high energy of the fight made it plenty of fun. Sixteenth boss is Billy the Ball and Company in Bouncing Blitz by What Is My Password 5555. This boss is something. It's weird, but it's also pretty good. It's fully animated and has a bunch of attacks while also being finished and fair. I had plenty of fun playing it. The boss begins by splitting into 5 pieces. The 4 exterior ones shoot bits of themselves, and the one in the middle sweats and shoots the sweat drops everywhere, making a bullet hell-like experience happen. Then it comes back together and hits the bottom of the screen, making 2 waves of yellow lines come up. Then he becomes H2O, and the bottom of the screen fills with water, causing a big fish to jump out below Cuphead and bite him. And finally, he splits once again, the smaller bit remaining as a hitbox, and the larger one becoming a rocket that follows Cuphead around. After this attack, the boss is defeated. Not to mention, the background seems to be 3 of Billy the Ball's friends, all with strange spinning eyes reminiscent of Funhouse Frazzle. Overall, very fun and enjoyable with creative attacks. Great boss, I must say. On the level with Fred. It's very cool, although the animation is kinda psychedelic. I don't know, I see that as a plus. I like cool, crazy stuff.
Here's a real high-class bout. And begin!
The 17th boss is Weathering Wallop by Little Coder 1205. This boss is certainly interesting. Once again, a boss with good attacks and nice animation. It's unfinished and only has one phase, but the first phase alone is complex already. The boss summons angry storm clouds that sap the floor, while killable people being carried by balloons and a wave pattern fill the screen. Nice use of the clone hitbox object. And some of them are parryable, while an army of clouds carrying even more people comes from the right side of the screen. The only real issue with the fight is here. Those clouds are almost the same color as the background, which makes them very hard to see. Then, for the next, unfinished phase, the boss goes into a blimp and laughs at the player as the sky turns dark and the clouds in the background and foreground get a cool shading effect. I wonder what this phase would have been like. And the last submission is Burrito Brawl by Bodil, with a capital L at the end. It's nothing amazing, but it's still very fun. It was definitely a nice way to finish the playing of all the projects at 4 AM. I love Bootlegger Boogie. It has 3 phases. In the first, the burrito will go up and down while shooting tomato slices forward. A fork will occasionally smash down from the heavens trying to stab Cuphead. He will sometimes fly off the screen and to the left and then go back to his spot, kinda like Hildeberg. In the second phase, the juice box in the bottom will start spewing juice that pushes Cuphead upward, like the seahorse from Calamaria's fight. The forks and tomato slices stop, and it becomes entirely the flying off the screen attack, while he leaves behind a trail of nachos that will fire toward Cuphead after a bit. Then, in the third phase, someone pours ketchup into him and his eyes turn red. The juice stops, and it becomes a bullet hell. He leans sideways and an endless barrage of chili flies at Cuphead, with a lot of them being parryable. All the while, spoons close in from the top and bottom. This is very similar to Dr. Cal's final phase. It's really fun to play through. Only issue is that the chilies in the final phase are almost undodgeable, because the flame they have at the back to look cool is also part of their hitbox. I love Scratch. And that the attacks seem to rely too heavily on existing boss attacks. Welp, that was it. A whole 18 bosses of scores. I hope you all had fun because I know I did. Well, goodbye.
Hey, wait! Get back here!
Wait, what?
What about the results? Like, the results! Who won first, second, and third place?
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. These are just the scores. Tune in next time for the actual results, where we will tell you who the first, second, and third place winners are in the epic cake at steak animation. Anyway, yeah, that's all. Goodbye. The cake at steak animation is coming soon.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't.